And usually most people set goals at the beginning of the year. And we talked about this a little bit last week. And I was just, reflecting. Maybe people who have already forgotten about the goals they set. You know those lists we write, long lists, I'm going to do this. And then 1 month down the road, you don't even remember what you wrote down. So I don't know what you guys think. This idea of goal setting is important, but how vigilant are we to keep through with it, tracking our goals through the year? Or do we get to the end of the year and we're like, oh my God, I had said I'm going to do this. Personally, I stopped writing resolutions. Let's talk about resolutions. Resolutions, you'd write timekeeping, giving, and what? And before you know it, the year is ending and you have not done anything. Grace, how is it with you? I don't know. I would love to hear what is happening in your,
Goal setting issues. Wow, I love the topic goal setting, and like as a church we started a Bible reading, reading the Bible throughout the year 2022, and as I was going through day one, the writer talks of a year's resolution, and he gives a scenario that when the year is starting, many people want to go to the gym to lose weight, take off stress. Maybe as the year was ending, they told them they had blood pressure, they needed to, do some exercises and all that. And so he said that at the beginning of the year, their gym is fully equipped because many people have enrolled. They want to go and
the pressure and
yes,
the fire
yeah,
to lose weight.
Yeah, they want to go and lose weight and sweat and do. But after just 2 weeks, the instructors are pulling off some instruments because people are no longer coming. Like the way you've said, they have forgotten what they wrote. They have forgotten their targets of the year. And like we discussed last time, I said, let us not set goals that are far from who we are. Now, like me, I can't set a goal in 2022 that I'm going to travel the world. It is impossible. There's no way I can accomplish that. So that is a goal that is good, beautiful, that everyone wants. Everyone needs to travel around, go to the Disneyland, you go and visit some people, make friends all over the world. But it's a goal that is far-fetched. So, and I think, like the question you've asked, that are there people that have already forgotten their goals that they set as they were beginning the year? I would say yes, because people set goals that are far from who they really are. Maybe out of excitement. People are excited, the year is ending.
I actually thought about excitement. Okay, you can be in a group, Like, okay, I know, mommy, you're in many groups, like, a WhatsApp group, like, it's a business group, and everyone is like, my resolution, like, somehow you, like, you get excited, and you jump on a boat, Kumbe, like, you're kind of doing something that is not really, you've not really taken time to think about it. So trust me, as the year goes by, I doubt whether that goal that that will be sticking with you. Yeah. So I think it goes back to also, like, okay, set goals, but also try to look at, like, just the way Teacher Grace has said, that don't make goals that are really far away from you. Yeah. I think you can, as the year goes by, you can be able to stick around your goals and make sure that you fulfill what you.
Let me just chip in there. There's a time, as like towards the end of the year, I had not taken leave, I was feeling tired, I had this social media burnout, and I was like, you know what, I need to reduce my group WhatsApp calls. I am not a social media person. Do you know what happened? Before I knew it, I think I added instead. Because there are new groups that came, new responsibilities that required additional additional WhatsApp groups, and I'm like, oh my God, looks like I'm failing on this one. So I think there are some goals we also set, and you actually fail in them, but what do you do?
Yeah, this is so interesting. Actually, I want to inject something on when you this thing. It is like two-way round. You can set a goal that you may think that you will not make it, but we have to realize that when we are setting goals, we have to also know the importance of setting that goals. Sometimes we can set goals for ourselves. It gives pressure in us to work hard to make sure that we achieve it. Because if we set lighter goals, we shall end up remaining lighter and there. But when you set something hard, it will also give you an effort to push you forward.
But Brian, they always
Yes.
tell us set goals that are achievable. Eh?
Yes,
So what
yes,
do you
I know
do?
that.
Eh?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that it is two-way round. We have to also first know the importance of setting a goals to us ourselves. Yeah, like in person, personal goal setting, that when you're setting a goal, it involves like finding answer to some particular key questions in your life, like how do I go about my life this year? Like you can have some imagination, and you can be like, how will I come about this imagination of mine? How will I reach that goal? You get? So you have to go by that.
Do you
Yeah.
know that it's also very important when you're setting your goals to actually, you can also set goals for maybe a quarter. And you say this quarter, and I can give an example like last year. In the first quarter of last year, my goal was to learn how to drive a manual car. My second goal for the next quarter was go to do a financial literacy course, and I did that. So, and then I flipped a bit for that quarter there, and then I ended up achieving my goal again for the last quarter. So I think it's also important that as we set goals, it doesn't have to go like through, you can even set goals for like short time periods and set this goal, this quarter or this month I want to achieve this. And I want to imagine that when you set goals that not so many things, because if you say I want to do this and this, you might end up not achieving anything. But if you set a few goals, realistic, in a short period, I think it also motivates you as you see yourself achieving some of these things that you want to achieve.
That is very true. When Brian was talking, I remembered something. You know, I'm writing a book that is called the 90 Degrees Super Lines. This is a book that has a collection of different line statements to help us approach day-to-day life. So, and one of the statements there is, you are not a wholesale, but you are a detailed person. And I've just remembered it that many of us set wholesale goals. What I mean is we do not break them down. We don't have work plans for the goals. You just set it, I want a financial, increase this year. But how is it going to come to reality? What are you going to do? How have you broken that down for you to realize it at the end of the year? So as we also set goals, let us not set wholesale goals. Like you take it as it is. You have to break down that goal. You want, like the way Mami has said, she wanted to learn how to drive a manual car. I believe you had a plan of a car was there, someone to teach you.
I learned how to drive a manual car. When I was learning to drive, I learned in a manual car. But when I was going for my test, I sat in an automatic car, and I was like, why have I been wasting time with a manual car? And I was like, I'm not going to go back to it. So I had to go for a refresher training in a driving school. And then I had to practice. Was it easy? It was tough. Because sometimes you'd start the car and it goes off. But through it, because I knew by end of this quarter I must be doing this, I had to make sure that I endure. So that means that even when you're setting goals, there might be some setbacks, but you have to be determined to overcome them.
Yeah, that simply brings my mind in knowing that, like, when you are setting a goal, you have to work for it. You have to work for your goal in order to achieve it. Yeah, and also you have to give yourself a period of time that when you're setting a goal for next year, and which period of time are you going to start setting up your goal? Like for example, me myself, like in year 2021, I was just there, like I had no job, but I was setting my goal that come January, whether by rain or fire, I must get a job. So what do? I have to work for it. So I have to move up and down and everywhere and drop my papers. But I believed in God that one of these people will call me, and January has happened. So you have to work for the goal that you set, which means I will shift the first one. Then the next that I'm setting, I will make sure that I work for them so that I achieve.
Just a little bit, take us back to the question that Mommy asked. Are there people that have already forgotten their goals? You know, I used, as I was growing up, I'm still growing up, but as I was growing up, I used not to, I was this girl who is not so fan of reading books. You rarely found me reading a novel or something. You could rarely find me do that. But you know, in last years, these recent years, I realized God is anointing me with the anointing of writing. So I started reading some things, developing the culture. So there's where I read a statement that said that when the day you plant a seed is not the day you reap. It is not the day you're going to get the fruit of that seed. And as if I bring it in the context of goal setting is, why most people forget the goals they have set is because they want to reap so quickly. You set a goal in December. Patience, true. You set a goal in December 2021, and in January you already want results. Yet you've not worked for that thing. So we should also have the sense of a farmer. Patience, like Mommy said, practice patience. Water this goal, water it until it brings the fruits that you're going to enjoy. The reason why we normally tend to forget and give up, like Diana said, that the fire ceases, is because we wanted to to see quick results, and which is very dangerous. Like the way they say, I haven't gone in any driving school. I'm hoping to in future, but I read and hear people say that, you know, when you're driving and you're on this high speed, chances are high that you're going to make an accident or something, because even when you want to stop, it is high pressure, so the car can overturn or something. So if we practice patience with our goals that we have set, and it doesn't need to be so many goals. You don't need a goal for each month. You could be having a goal for each quarter, like Mommy said. You end up having only four goals or 3, and 1 quarter is to review all of them. You can end up having 3 in a year.
They become more achievable. And do you know the other thing I'm thinking about is that goals are not only something that we hope to achieve. You can also have a goal to drop something. Let's say you're a smoker, or you are someone that spends without planning. It can also be your goal. So goal setting is not only setting a goal to achieve, but it can also be setting a goal to drop off some things, setting goals to stop certain things. For instance, do you know that many of us talk about growing financially, wanting to invest, but we forget that one of the things that fails people is the way you spend. So if you're not tracking how you're spending and you just keep spending, you won't get to your financial goals, because whatever you get, you spend. So goal setting can also be that I am setting a goal to stop certain things. Maybe I am a poor timekeeper. So I set a goal and I say, from today onwards, if I've been struggling to get out of bed, I'll make sure I wake up 2 hours earlier so that I'm able to be in time. Or it could be that maybe there are certain habits that I really need to let go of. So you set a goal to drop something or to stop something.
And what I get from what you're saying is we should put efforts in our goals that we set. If like someone is a smoker, they want to drop that habit, will it just go simply because you put it on paper that you want to? Yes, you work it out. put an effort. It has to come from you. No one is going, because most of us don't know each one's goals for the year. No one is going to remind you that, hey, you did this. You said you want to achieve this. But it has to come from you. If it is time for waking up early, you've been waking up at 7. Now you set a goal to wake up at 3 and pray and start the day from there. It has to come from you, your efforts. If it needs setting alarms like 3 times before the actual time, please do that. Simply
You put
because
it
you
very
want to
far from
achieve.
your bed so that your hand cannot even reach. You can't.
Yeah.
You can reach out and you take it off and you go back. So you put it maybe in the kitchen so that it rings loud and you have to walk out of bed.
Yes, that is.
Yes, and eventually, actually, goal setting. When you set goal, actually, you need to see some change in your life. But when you're not seeing any change in your life, it means you're not setting a goal, and you will actually not be example to others. Because, like, even to change physically, like when you say that from next year, I will no longer be putting on a damaged jeans. I will no longer be putting on pull down, like as Mommy has said. It means next year I will change. I will start putting on gentle, and I will not appear like the way I've been. There is change already in my life, even financially. So which means even financially, if you waste your money so much, you will not grow, because goal setting, it needs only 2 things to happen in our life: growth and development, and we see change in our life. Yeah.
Wow. Now, me as an early years teacher, talking about goal setting, I'm asking myself, how do we teach goal setting to children? Because we don't want them at some point to struggle, like the way we really struggle. And the Bible tells us that teach your children in a way that they should grow, that even when they grow up, they'll never depart from that way. So could it be that, okay, parents who are out there, like even us who are like hoping to be parents at one point, could it be something that we need to think about and we teach our children goal setting? It doesn't have to be really, really so big, but it can start with small things, yeah? The children know, okay, at home there are different chores. So can you, instead of, okay, you as a parent directing them, okay, Nisi, you're going to do this. Dana, you're going to do this. They know that the things that they're supposed to do at home. Can they take like a responsibility and they be like, Mommy, I want to do this. I want to do this. So can we train like can it start from down, So it's really, really nice, and I'm probably encouraging parents to start training children goal setting. One of the things that have been like, okay, there's a school that I currently work with, and they do like the ACE curriculum. But one of the things that they teach children is to set goals for themselves. Like today is Monday, I have English, I have math, so today I want to achieve this. Today, if I'm doing work, like let me say, I want to do work from page 1 to page 2. So they write it down there. They write it down. And at the end of the day, they cross it out if the goal has been achieved. So it's kind of training children, like as they're like right there, because it's really, really very important. It helps you to achieve like so many things in life. Yeah. So as a child worker, I thought that we could encourage parents to teach children how to set goals as early as possible.
And that is very true. And that being in line of children, that is very, very, very important. I don't know how I can express it, but it's very important to, for children to be trained in these things. And as, like I said, I'm reading. As a reader, I love this statement of monkey see, monkey do. We normally use it in children's settings. They will do what they see you do. We normally learn more when we see people do, mostly elderly people that are above us. We normally learn more than what we read by ourselves. So if a parent, you're there, like there is a conference I attended, it was a UN conference, and they were saying that they not only need women at the table, but they nowadays want women to be active while at the table. Different platforms. So I'll bring it back to our homes. parents normally set goals for their children in the absence of the children, but aim this time round to have children at the table. Talk to them, to ask them what they would want to eat for next week. If you cannot achieve it, please explain why we can't have chicken at that particular day. They will understand. And so have them at the table, and also let them be active while at the table.
Let me chip in there. That's a very important point, and thank you, Diana, for taking us along that angle. It also requires some level of responsibility from the parent. One, to be able to respect the goals of this child, to be able to step aside and allow this child to think on their own and be able to set goals on their own, because most times we see them as little ones, so you want to influence almost everything that they do. But that requires that if your child is going to develop and grow in that area of goal setting, it requires that you step aside a little bit and allow them to make their own goals, maybe even failed to achieve them, and then you have a discussion on how they can do better to achieve their goals. So I think as parents, we need to get to that point where we allow our children to explore, to grow, and set up their own goals. And like you said, if you're a parent and you've brought the children on the table and you said, I'm going to take you to Serena, yeah? And then you don't make it there, explain so that they know that if you don't achieve a goal, you have something. You know, when my husband was dating me, the first thing he told me, like, to excite me is like, you know, I'm going to take you to Sheraton. It took us like another 2-3 years before we ever went there. So when you're setting a goal, yeah, you fail to make it, you know, our husbands, yeah. But when you set a goal and you fail to achieve it, yeah, you should be able, I like what you said, that you should be able to explain so that a child knows, if I don't achieve a goal, I need to evaluate and I need to come up with a strategy to make sure I achieve my next goal.
And they also,
very good, you don't give up on it, yeah.
and they also need to know that failure to achieve your goal is normal. You're not
It
the
happens,
first person.
yeah.
Yes, it happens. It's okay. We can reset it and achieve it next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know we are enjoying this conversation, but I'm... so we have to end it here. We will continue next week, and I want us to continue on this, you know, children, because most times it's us. So it would be nice to talk a little bit more on the children and goal setting, and maybe we can bring a child to the table.
And they are growing into adults, you know, so they need to know.
So our viewers, that brings us to the end of our program today. Please